Welcome to Bobby Does Recaps. This is Dexter Resurrection, Season 1. Last time we saw Dexter, he convinced his son to shoot him, but Hollywood cash cows never truly die. Apparently, upstate New York winter is great for surviving a gunshot. The cold slows Dexter's heart rate, he doesn't bleed out, and he spends the next 10 weeks in a coma getting lectured by the voices in his head. The Trinity Killer shows up and tells him family and murder don't mix. Miguel Prado shows up to remind him that trying to have a normal life gets people killed. And Harry, Dexter's dad and permanent backseat driver, tells him Harrison still needs him. So Dexter wakes up, finds out Harrison's gone, and to make things worse, Batista shows up. Remember him? Dexter's old buddy from Miami PD? He's like, "Why'd you fake your death, dude?" And, yeah, so are you the Bay Harbor Butcher? And Dexter's like, head's fuzzy, let's talk later about it. Meanwhile, in New York, Harrison's built an okay-ish new life. He's working as a bellhop at the Empire Hotel, crushing on coworker Elsa, and quietly homeless, bouncing between empty rooms at night because New York's expensive. And things are going pretty good. That is, until a hotel guest tries to take advantage of a drugged woman, and Harrison snaps. Now, he's in a bit of a pickle, so he chops up the body, just like dear old dad taught him. So much for not being like his father. Dexter hears about the chopped up body, recognizes his own MO, and heads straight for New York. Well, that is until he dodges Batista, who's definitely not going to give up that easy, but we'll get to that later. Conveniently, New York's got a serial killer problem. Someone's murdering rideshare drivers, and the press has nicknamed him the Dark Passenger, which kind of pisses Dexter off because that's his thing. So he becomes a rideshare driver just to hunt the guy, gets coached through the app by his new landlord Kamara, generally the only decent person in the show, and tracks the killer down, a man who goes by Red. Of course, Dexter kills Red, but he takes his identity because he finds an invitation for a private dinner party for like-minded individuals. Yes, it's exactly what it sounds like, but for Dexter, it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Meet Leon Prater, a billionaire with a secret vault of serial killer memorabilia. Now, Prater isn't a killer himself. He just collects them, funds them, and treats them like a hobby the way other rich people collect wine or whiskey. So Dexter, pretending to be Red, walks straight into the serial killer book club. And he's like a fat kid in a candy store. There's Lowell, the tattoo collector, and I bet you can't guess what he takes for trophies. I kind of always knew there was something off about Neil. There's Al, a cheerful family man who strangles women with ponytails. There's Mia, a.k.a. Lady Vengeance, whose entire media persona is built around only killing sexual predators, which is kind of intriguing for Dexter because maybe she has a code like him. And Gareth, the Gemini killer, famous for taking victims out 2 at a time, which turns out to be important, so keep that in your pocket. Dexter kills Lowell almost immediately, which is kind of a bummer because I was hoping Neil had a bigger part. But before Dexter can move on his next target, he's got a bigger problem. Harrison, racked with guilt, is about to turn himself in. Dexter stops him just in time. Harrison's furious, terrified, but also kind of relieved. Dexter's like, "Yeah, I'm alive. Yeah, I shouldn't have made you shoot me. And yes, I'm the Bay Harbor Butcher." And Harrison's like, "I'm not like you. I'm haunted by what I've done." So Dexter promises not to try to mold him into a killer this time. It's not the best reunion, but Dexter's relationships are complicated. Speaking of complicated relationships, Dexter and Mia start hitting it off. Bowling dates, wine bars, semi-normal dating. Dex thinks she might be perfect for him. She has a code too. But that fantasy gets shattered when Mia lets it slip that she doesn't only kill predators. She enjoys killing. Turns out, Lady Vengeance was just branding. And that's when she stops being Dexter's love interest and starts being the next target. But it's complicated, so he pivots. Right before her next kill, he breaks into her apartment. And remember the creep Harrison took out earlier? Dexter plants his watch in her apartment, then calls 911 pretending to be a neighbor. The cops arrest her, and Dex has now killed 2 birds with 1 stone. She's framed for murder, and the heat should be off Harrison. Not exactly Dexter's style, but he's evolving. However, Mia doesn't even get a trial. Charlie, Prater's terrifying enforcer lady, bribes a guard to stage a suicide before Mia can talk. Apparently, Prater doesn't like loose ends. Meanwhile, Gareth is suspicious of Dexter and shows up inside his apartment. Dexter kills him too, quietly, because it's in the middle of his landlord's mother's wake, which is its own small comedy of errors involving a body hidden in a bathtub, and Kamara almost sees it while looking for Advil and insisting to fix the shower curtain. It's extremely tense, but Dex gets away with it, of course. Whew, problem solved. Except it isn't. Prater helicopters everyone out to a retreat, and Gareth shows up. Alive! Turns out the Gemini killer was never one guy. It's twin brothers, both named Gareth, and Dexter only got one of them. Once again, Dex pivots, gets the surviving twin alone, needles his ego, and casually reveals he already murdered his brother. Gareth loses it, attacks him with a broken wine glass, and Dexter kills him too, this time in full view of Prater, Al, and Charlie. He spins it as self-defense against a jealous lunatic. Prater buys it, Charlie does not, and Charlie, with all those Kill Bill vibes, is not someone you want unconvinced. Remember Batista? Long story short, he's been hot on Dexter's trail ever since Dex gave him the slip at the beginning of the season. Unable to get anything on Dex, he confronts him and cleverly leaves his AirPods in Dexter's car. Using Find My on the iPhone to track him, Batista almost catches Dex right before he's about to take out this awful slumlord. Batista bursts in, but gets nothing to show for it. Detective Claudette Wallace, the NYPD detective who spent the entire season half convinced Harrison's hiding something, and her partner, who basically exists to nod his head, show up. And they tear Batista's whole theory apart on the spot. To be fair, I forgot to mention he's been driving him a little crazy all season long. Meanwhile, Al reads the room and skips town. Dex had planned to take him out after Hamilton, but he leaves at intermission and drives straight back home to Wisconsin. So Dexter misses his shot there completely. But I have a feeling we're going to see him again. Now, Batista, humiliated, but definitely not done, shows up at Prater's mansion to warn him about Red. Instead, he accidentally hands Prater the one piece of information that blows the whole season open. Red is actually Dexter Morgan, the Bay Harbor butcher. Prater's thrilled, genuinely, deeply thrilled, like a fan meeting his favorite band, except the band murders people. He lures Dexter to his vault, reveals he already knows everything, and offers to be his benefactor. He'll bait serial killers in. This really would be an all-you-can-eat buffet. All Dexter's got to do is kill Batista live, right now, in front of him. Dexter refuses and cuts him loose, but Batista attacks him instead, and Prater, annoyed by his little demonstration not going as planned, shoots Batista and seals Dexter inside the vault. Right before Batista dies, they finally find common ground. Nah, I'm just kidding. He says, F you. Now trapped, Dexter uses Batista's face to unlock his phone and calls the one person he can trust, Harrison, who, to his credit, doesn't hesitate. He conveniently gets himself hired as a waiter for Prater's massive police charity gala. Once inside, he goes floor by floor, sneaking up to the penthouse, but gets intercepted by Charlie at the top of the stairs. Dexter has to think fast. He found a file Prater's been keeping on Charlie, every crime she's committed on his orders, kept as leverage. He offers her a trade, open the vault, let Harrison go, and he will destroy the file. Charlie lets Harrison go, but does not open the vault. So now, it's Hail Mary time, and Dexter's got one shot to crack the code. He looks at the file of the man who killed Prater's parents and decides to try his inmate number. Harrison plugs the numbers in, and it works! Dexter's free! Harrison heads down, hoping to escape the party unnoticed, while Dexter hangs back to find a fake thumbprint he lost earlier. And that plan fails fast. Prater catches Harrison on the way out, and Dexter's forced to come back for round 2. Dexter tries to convince Prater to kill him instead. Come on, you could be the man who took down the Bay Harbor butcher. But it turns out Harrison's learning to be prepared. He brought the syringe of M99 Dex gave him earlier, and he uses it the second he gets the chance. And Prater drops like a sack of potatoes. A small one. Dexter finishes the job right there in the vault, and, in a rare moment of restraint, or maybe disgust, decides not to keep a blood trophy. I guess some people just aren't worth remembering. Dexter triggers the vault alarm on his way out, making sure the police find Batista's body, Prater's trophy collection, and a gun conveniently covered in Prater's fingerprints. He steals Prater's yacht, dumps the body at sea, and sails off with one of his iconic season-ending monologues. He's always thought he had to do this alone. Maybe he doesn't. He's got Harrison now, not just as a son, but as someone who can pull him back from the edge. I'm exactly who I need to be, he says.
Exactly who you want me to be.
And that's a wrap. If you like this recap, hit that subscribe button, and I look forward to recapping another show for you very soon.